The big story in latest in the Israel-Iran conflict, Israeli military has reported 2 missiles fired from Iran mid-morning on Tuesday after US President Trump announced a ceasefire plan. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said, in light of the severe violation of the ceasefire carried out by the Iranian regime, Israel would respond forcefully to Iran's violation of the ceasefire. He also ordered the military to strike Tehran. According to Iranian state media, Iran has denied it launched any missiles at Israel in the last few hours. Meanwhile, as US President Donald Trump departs for NATO summit on Tuesday, he said he was not happy either of the countries for violating the ceasefire, but he didn't like that Israel unloaded right after agreeing to the deal. Trump further added that Iran's nuclear capabilities are gone. He warned Israel not to drop any more bombs on Iran, or it would be a major violation.
I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they felt it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there, absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone.
And DD India correspondent Jessica Taneja joins us for more on this. Jessica, Donald Trump expresses displeasure against both Israel and Iran for risking ceasefire. What do you make of the tone and tenor of what Trump said?
Well, you just heard President Donald Trump, before he could board Air Force One, he spoke to the reporters and he said, as we just played out for our viewers a short while ago, that he is displeased about the fact that this, ceasefire has not really come into effect, a ceasefire that he announced late last night and would have ensured 12-day peace and cessation of any firing or any military hostilities between the two nations. But that apparently has not taken place, with the barrage of missiles being fired from both sides. The situation still remains grim at this point, and to be able to give our viewers an overall view of what's happening in the region is certainly getting more and more precarious in a way that the situation is evolving at this point. But what you understand from Donald Trump, Shubhendu, is interesting, because you go back to a few months where in March there was a press conference held by National Intelligence Chief Tulsi Gabbard, and in which she had told the reporters that according to the intelligence that she has received from both the US and their other allies, that Iran is about a year or so away from building nuclear weapons. Yes, they have many centrifuges that are now keeping and housing enriched uranium that is weapons grade and is potentially lethal, but it was nowhere close to building a nuclear weapon. That is what she told the reporters back then. But now you see the friction within the US administration as well, which is what a lot of American media is also reporting about. The fact that Donald Trump then later on comes out just when the strikes, after the strikes on the nuclear facilities in Iran, he says that Iran was just about a week away from building those bombs, chiming in what the Israelis were saying when they started their raids on Iranian military installations as well as the nuclear facilities. While it required the US to use B-2 bombers, as what Donald Trump is also very proud of, his military has been able to use and successfully execute an operation, a military operation, which was carried out late in the night, which is Iranian time, approximately after 2 a.m., a surprise attack, and certainly a very, very expensive attack, that too, as well, is what we're given to understand. But you see the friction within the administration on the intelligence received about the potential building of a nuclear weapon seems to have created some conflicting narratives. And perhaps what Donald Trump seems to believe is that the nuclear facilities have been struck and Iran has been thrown back for at least about a year when it comes to building nuclear weapons.
Right. And Jessica, coming back to what Trump said, it's rare to see an American president reprimand Israel in public like the way he just did. What is your sense of how his message would be received by Israel and Iran?
Would you recall, his message to the core MAGA base, Shubedu, you'd recall what his message was, that he doesn't want America to be involved in any other wars outside its territory. In fact, he's been so busy and occupied looking at the difficult situation and conflicts and protests back home. You saw what happened in LA last week, and the frequent protests that we're seeing against the ICE raids or the immigration and customs enforcement raids that Donald Trump and his administration have now changed the policy for immigration, and certainly has been creating a lot of chaos for the country at this point. But with this current set of situations that he is faced with, there has been no achievement unlocked, so to say, in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. There's not much peace achieved between Israel and Iran as well. Tensions have only heightened. We saw the base in Qatar being attacked yesterday, although the American administration says that all their military personnel were evacuated from that base in Qatar. But still, there are hostilities that continue. So, people back home who he speaks to, mostly internationally, and we're now getting used to an American president who will provide us real-time, analysis and in fact his point of view. So all of us as foreign correspondents also getting used to the fact that there will be enough available as an analysis or an understanding of what the United States president seems to think about wars and conflicts, and how he's going to assure his people that there will be no body bags or no attacks on the US troops stationed across the Middle East, and there are about 43,000 of them, Shubhendu. So that's going to be a big question for his people to get answers to.
Things do seem unpredictable, to say the least. Jessica, thank you for those updates.